Hey students, welcome back to BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. Today we will be talking about Unit 4 of Managerial Economics, which includes pricing methods, pricing policies, price discrimination, national income concepts, and measurement. These concepts are extremely important for business decision making strategies, and government planning. So let us begin. Let's first understand the meaning of pricing methods. Pricing methods refers to the technique or formula that firm uses to decide the selling price of a product. Every business, whether it is Zomato, Tata Motors, a cafe, or even a local shop, they must choose a pricing method that aligns with the demand, cost, and competition of their own businesses. So, what is actually the purpose of setting up a price? First is in order to recover the cost. Whatever cost has been incurred by the business, they need to recover that cost. So they set a price so that they are able to at least recover the cost, and then they look at how they are also earning the profit while they are setting up the price. So this pricing also helps in attracting the customers, because price only lets the customers or the consumers decide whether they are going to buy the product or not. And then finally, to remain competitive in the market or in their own industries. So we understand that it is basically referring to any specific technique that is used by the firms so that their product's price can be determined on the basis of the cost, on the basis of the market, the demand, the competition, and of course the profitability. Right. Now let's understand that what is cost-based pricing method. When we talk about cost-based pricing method, we understand that it starts with calculating the cost of production and further adding a margin into it. So it is a very common formula that we all have always understood and learned, that price is always equals to cost plus profit margin. So it is a very simple and widely used method. So this is common in traditional industries, for example, textile industry, furniture industry, cement and manufacturing industries. Now we'll explore them one by one. Right. We'll also look at the markup pricing, wherein retailers add fixed percentage margin over cost. And then there is a break-even pricing where price set to cover the cost at a specific volume. We'll be looking at them in detail. Let's understand what is cost plus pricing. It is the simplest and the most widely used method. There are various steps that are followed. Very simple steps. First is we calculate the per unit cost. We estimate this production cost. Then we add a fixed profit percentage into this production cost. And final price is determined. So it is as simple. Advantage of this method is that it is simple, it is safe, and it is stable. Right? For example, we say that there is a furniture manufacturer. He produces a chair at rupees 1000. His production cost is rupees 1000. Right? And then he adds 20% of the profit percentage, a fixed profit percentage. So the selling price would be, what will be the selling price? It will be rupees 1200, right? Because 20% is, sorry for the handwriting here, right? So the selling price comes out to be 1200. Now how much is the profit? 200 rupees is the profit. Right, this method is popular among manufacturing companies, government contracts, and small businesses. It is the simplest method that we could actually see. Next is the marginal cost pricing. In this method, the price is based on marginal cost, especially during the competitive scenarios. Right, whenever we see that during the competition or there are special orders. In this case, this marginal cost pricing method is used, right? For example, airlines, what do? They often use marginal cost pricing. Why? Because they have to, get the booking for their last minute discounted seats that they offer for all their empty seats, right? So if flight seats are empty, then airlines reduce the price to cover at least the marginal cost. E-commerce platforms also use the marginal pricing during the flash sales. For example, in the coming days, we are expecting Black Friday sale. So what is happening there? They will be reducing the costs so that, keeping in mind that they are at least able to earn their marginal costs. The next pricing strategy is target return prices. Target. This word is important here. So what does the company do? Here the firm sets price to achieve a certain return on investment. They initially set their desired return on investments. So this desired return on investment is decided. There is a formula again to calculate it, where we say that price is equals to cost plus the target returns that we are desiring or expecting divided by expected sales. For example, automobile companies like Tata Motors, Hyundai and Honda, what do? They use this method when launching a new car model, right? They calculate the expected sales and they set a price that guarantees a specific return. That is why it is called as target return pricing. Next, let's understand what is competition-based pricing. There are some industries that follow this competitor pricing rather than cost or demand. So their price does not depend on the cost. Also, it does not depend on the demand of the product. It is completely dependent on the competitors, on the competition, right? So first is a going rate prices. What is going rate prices? It is the price that follows the industry standard. Whatever standard is being followed by the entire industry, let's follow that. Example, petrol pumps follow the government and the industry rates, right? Next is sealed bid pricing. It is used in tenders for roads, bridges, construction projects. So there is a bid that happens and they seal the price on the basis of the bidding. And finally, there is a premium pricing. Premium pricing is applied by the premium brands. So here the prices are set above the market just to indicate the luxury status. So brands like Apple, BMW, they use premium pricing to signal the luxury and exclusivity that they hold with them. So here the prices are determined on the basis of the competition, but not on the cost and not on the demand of the product. Then comes demand-based pricing method. Under this method, we say that it depends on the customer's value, the trends and the market conditions, right? And we see various pricing methods here also. For example, we have price skimming method. In case of price skimming, what happens that it is higher in the initial phase, it is high initial price, and then we gradually reduce. So initially at the time of launch, the price is generally on the higher side, and then gradually we taper it down, we reduce it. For example, the iPhones, they use this price skimming model, or for whatever new gadgets that come, because it is new in market. So to create that buzz, they keep high prices initially and then they gradually reduces the price. So that is why it is called as price skimming method. Next is penetration pricing. Penetration prices is wherein they are trying to penetrate into the market. So they are the new players, right? So how do they penetrate? How do they get into the market? They initially keep the price low. They, due to the low prices, are able to attract the customers and then gradually increases the prices. For example, Jio did in 2016. It had given all the free offers to the customers and now it has started charging. Why? Because now the people are habitual. They have seen their services. They are satisfied with the services. So now Jio is gradually increasing the price. So it has slowly and gradually penetrated into the existing competitive market. Next is value-based pricing. This value-based pricing depends on the perceived value of any product by the customer, and it is applicable only on the luxury brands. For example, Starbucks, it charges more because customers value the experience there. Going there, sitting there, enjoying the vibe, enjoying the free Wi-Fi. So they value it, right? Now we come on to the next part of the unit, that is understanding the pricing policies. So under this section, we will try and understand first that what is the meaning of pricing policy. We will look at the objectives, various types of pricing policies, what is prestige pricing and what is cyclical pricing policy. Starting with meaning of pricing policies, we here understand that pricing policies are long-term guidelines that influence how a company prices its product over a period of time. These policies basically ensure the stability and helps the firms achieve their strategic goals. These policies are again basically the decision making concept, right? It provides a guideline that is influencing the pricing decision, and it is based on the goal of the company or the strategic goal of the company. It could be, let's say, to increase the market share, to increase the profit, to grab the customer loyalty. Whatever the strategic goal of the company is, these strategic goals influence these pricing policies in the long term. What are the various objectives of pricing policies? Common objective is, of course, first is profit maximization. Whatever policies we are designing, the basic motive behind it is to maximize the profit. Then is to increase the market share, to survive the competition, maybe quick recovery of the cost, entering new markets, maintaining customer loyalty. So these are various objectives of defining these pricing policies, because these policies helps in shaping how a company position itself in the market, right? Now we'll understand various types of pricing policies. These are some popular pricing policies what we will be discussing here. The first one is the geographical pricing. As the name suggests, we are saying that the prices are different for different regions, for the places that are differently geographically located at different places. For example, Uber charges differently by the city. The charges here in Meerut are different from the charges which are charged in Delhi. For example, FMCG products are priced differently in metro versus the rural market. So this is the example of a geographical pricing. Next, we have psychological pricing, a beautiful concept which is very, very prominent specifically in these days. It is a concept that says that keep rupees 99 instead of 100 just to create an appeal that it is only a 2-digit cost product. So here these prices ending in 99, they appear cheaper to the customers, right? So for example, we have a complete concept of store 99. How does the pricing of that store 99 are set? They are set on this psychological pricing policy concept only. Then is a two-part pricing. Here we see that the prices are decided on two parts. First one is a fixed fee and the other one is a variable fee, right? So this the example could be maybe gym membership plus per service fees, or maybe per class fee, or when we go to amusement park, so there is a fixed fee to enter the amusement park, and then there is variable charges of depending on whatever rides you are taking up. Similarly, we have telecom plans. There is a fixed monthly rental, and then over and above how many data you are using. So this is called as two-part pricing. The next one is product line pricing. Here different prices within the same product category are defined. For example, there is an iPhone 15, it has different price, 15 Plus has different price, 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max. So there is the same product but a complete product line which has a different price levels and the range of prices. These are the different types of pricing policies. Then there is something called as prestige pricing. As the name suggests again, prestige pricing is used by premium brands. Why? Only to create that sense of luxury. So it is used by the luxury brands. Here this luxury is perceived as the high quality product, right? For example, we have Rolex, Gucci, Audi, Taj Hotels. What do? They maintain high prices because customers relate price with the status and exclusivity that they get in return. The next one is a cyclical pricing policy. In this pricing policy, companies change prices according to the economic cycles. As there is a change in the economy, so there is a change in the price. If the cycle is on the boom side, then the prices are on the higher side, and vice versa. In the case of recessions, the prices also lowers down. For example, we see real estate, right? The rates of properties, they fall during the recession, but they rise rapidly when the economy recovers. Coming on to the next part of this unit, which is price discrimination. Here again, we'll understand the meaning of it, the conditions for price discriminations, what are the different types, and then we will also see the examples of price discrimination. What does price discrimination means? It means charging different prices to different customers for the same product, right? Without changes in the cost. This concept was introduced by A.C. Pigou. How does this happen? how are we able to actually charge different prices from different customers for the same product? Can you think of an example? If yes, please mention in the comment. Now let us first understand the conditions under which price discrimination becomes possible. This topic is extremely important because many industries like airlines, telecom, movie theatre, hotels, even hospitals, they use price discrimination to maximize the profit. But remember that a firm cannot charge different prices everywhere unless certain basic conditions are met. Only and only if these conditions are met. This concept was given by the economist A.C. Pigou. He explained these conditions very clearly. Right? We'll see them one by one. The first condition is that seller must have market power, some monopoly power. Right? This first and most important condition is that the seller must have some degree of control over the price. Price discrimination is impossible in perfect competition. Why? Because all firms are price takers. But if a firm has a monopoly power, even a small one, it can charge different prices. For example, if I talk about airlines or maybe telecom companies or hospitals or movie theaters or OTT platforms, they have enough control over the pricing because customers cannot fully substitute their services immediately. Right? The second condition is that consumer group must have different elasticities of demand. This means that different group of consumers must respond different to the prices. For example, some customers are highly sensitive to the price change, others are willing to pay more. So if elasticity is different, the firm charges higher price from the inelastic customers or maybe less sensitive customers and lower prices from the elastic customers or more sensitive customers. For example, students get cheaper software subscriptions, right? Business travelers pay higher airline fares, although they are traveling in the same flight. The economy class and business class, both of them are traveling in the same flight, yet the business travelers pay higher airline fares. Medicines are priced higher for urgent buyers. Electricity slab rates differ for low and high usage consumers. So these are the examples of customers with different elasticities. Then we say that the market must be divided or there is a separation possible. Right? Here the firm should be able to separate the market so that customers paying lower price cannot leak into market paying the higher price. So here segmentation comes into the picture. And this segmentation is based on geography, age, income, time, usage quantity, online versus offline. For example, when we talk about a movie theatre, it charges less in the morning and more during the evening shows. Although it is the same theatre, it is the same movie, right? The metro cities have higher tuition fees as compared to the small towns. Similarly, hotel charges differently for weekends and for weekdays, right? So here what we are doing, we are able to separate the market. The next reason is that there is no resale between different markets. For price discrimination to work, we must see that customers must not be able to resell the product. If customers are paying a lower price, resell to those who are supposed to pay a higher price, then the entire pricing strategy would collapse. So reselling is also an important factor here. Let's look at the example. What are those products or services that we are not able to resell? Electricity cannot be resold. Train tickets cannot be transferred. Discounts in college fees cannot be shared. A movie ticket bought at student price cannot be resold to a regular buyer. So this is why these services are more prone to the price discrimination and they cannot be resold. The last condition is that the ability to prevent arbitrage or leakage, right? So this arbitrage means buying in the cheap market and selling in the expensive one. The firm must be able to control this leakage, otherwise the price discrimination will fall. I hope these conditions are clear to you. The first condition that we had talked about was that the seller must have some monopoly power. It should be even a little one, but it should be a price maker. Customers with different elasticities, we should be able to have the customers who have different paying capacities. We are able to separate the market, and then there is when the market the product cannot be resold. These are the conditions that need to be met for price discrimination. Now let's see what are the different types of price discrimination. The first one is the first degree or perfect discrimination. This means where each customer is charged differently. For example, auctions, bargaining in jewelry shops, right? So here different prices for different customers. The second type is second degree. Here in second degree we say where prices vary by quantity consumed, right? For example, electricity slab rates or maybe bulk purchase discounts. If you buy in bulk, there are more discounts. So this comes under second degree. And finally, there is a third degree which talks about different price for different groups. And what are those groups? Maybe student discounts or senior citizen railway concessions. So here we are charging different prices from different groups. It could be weekend or weekday movie tickets also. These are the 3 degrees wherein we can discriminate the prices. Let's look at different examples. Movie tickets, we see that there are different prices in weekends and in weekdays. Airline tickets, seasonal. Whenever there is more, seasonal, the demand is more, the airline tickets get expensive. Doctors charging different patients differently, and also in case of emergencies, the charges are different. Uber surge pricing, we see that it is different. Tuition fees depending on scholarship versus non-scholarship students. So these are some of the examples where we see price discrimination. It is ultimately helping the firms maximize their revenue by charging according to the willingness to pay. Depending on the willingness and the capacity to pay, the firms go for price discrimination, and the only motive behind price discrimination is to maximize their revenues. Now we come on to the concept, which is a very important concept, national income. Here we'll see various aspects and factors that comes under national income. What is national income? We say it is the total value of goods and services that are produced by any country in 1 year. So the total value of goods and services produced within a country during a year. It tells us how fast an economy is growing and the standard of living of the people. So what it is measuring? It is measuring a country's economic performance. How well any country is performing economically, how are the standard of living of the people of that country is increasing, and how ultimately the economy of any country is growing. There are various concepts that comes under national income. GDP or gross domestic product, GNP or gross national product, net national product, national income, personal income, disposable income, per capita income and domestic income. We'll understand them one by one. What is GDP? GDP measures the production within the country, the value of the goods and services produced within the domestic territory of a country. It includes both residents as well as foreigners operating in India. For example, Toyota manufacturing in India, it contributes to India's GDP. But an Indian working in Dubai does not contribute to India's GDP. Even if he is an Indian, whatever he is earning in Dubai is not a part of GDP, right? The next concept is GNP or gross national product. We say that GNP includes any income that is earned by the nationals, whether they live in India or abroad or outside India. For example, Indian IT professionals who are working in USA, they contribute to India's GNP. And the foreigners working in India are excluded here. I hope the difference between GDP and GNP is clear. Here we are including the income earned by the Indian nationals, whether they are inside India or whether they are earning outside India. Now let's understand one of the most important numerical part of national income accounting, the national income formula. National income is equals to NNP at factor cost. This means the real income earned by the factors of production. Right? What are the factors of production like land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship after adjusting for taxes and subsidies? To understand this, we follow a simple stepwise structure. So start with NNP at market price. NNP at market price is nothing but the total value of goods and services produced in a country by its residents minus depreciation. For example, the GNP is rupees 200 lakh crores and depreciation is rupees 20 lakh crores. So NNP comes out to be 180 lakh crores. So we now have NNP. Next, what we will do, we will now adjust market price to factor costs. So market price includes indirect taxes like GST, excise, customs and exclude the subsidies. But factor cost includes only payment to factors of production. So to convert market price into factor cost, what do? We do the adjustment. So NNP-FC is equals to NNP at market price minus indirect taxes plus subsidies. Why is this happening? Because indirect taxes increase the market price but do not go to the producer. And subsidies reduce market price but are still the part of producer income. That is why we are doing it. So finally, national income formula is NI is NNP at factor cost. So this is the income people actually earn. Right? Example ले लेते हैं फिर से. NNP at market price, let's say, is rupees 200 lakh crores. Indirect taxes are 15 lakh crores and subsidies are 5 lakh crores. So national income will be 200 minus 15 plus 5. Therefore, national income comes out to be rupees 190 lakh crores. So this is the real income of a country. I hope it is clear to you. Now let's understand different methods of measuring national income. It is used again to calculate the national income. These methods help economists ensure the national income figure is accurate and reliable. We therefore, see that every country, including India, it uses all the three methods depending on the type of data available. We use income method, expenditure method or output or product method. Talking about income method first, which includes factor payment method. This method adds up all the incomes earned by the factors of production within the domestic territory. Therefore, it includes wages and salaries, rent, interest, profit, mixed income, right? So the formula to calculate this income method is national income is equals to W plus R plus I plus P plus mixed income. W is wages plus rent plus interest plus profit plus mixed income. We are adding up everything. In case of expenditure method, this method adds up all expenditure made on final goods and services. So the formula is GDP is equals to C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where C is consumption by the households, I is investments by the businesses, G is the government expenditure, X minus M is nothing but net exports, right? Exports minus imports, X minus M. X predicts export and M predicts imports, right? Then we talk about output or product method. This method measures national income by adding the value added by all the productive units at each stage of production. So what is value added? Value added is equals to output minus intermediate consumption. What does it do? It prevents the double counting. Now to understand this output or product method, let's take an example. We have a cotton and we are producing it to a shirt. So let's say that farmer sells the raw cotton at a value of rupees 500. Spinning mill makes the yarn, so value added is rupees 300 here. Now textile mill will make the cloth, so the value added is again 400. The garment factory will make the shirt and value added is 300. So what is the total national income? It becomes 500 that farmer had given, 300 from the spinning mill, 400 from the textile mill and 300 from the garment mill. So it comes out to be rupees 1500, not the sum of all the sales invoices, right? So this is why value added method is preferred in the manufacturing industries. Now the question comes that which method is used where? So to answer this, we say that income method is used generally in the service sector like banks, insurance and education. Expenditure method is generally used in the government planning or macroeconomic policies, and output method, as I just mentioned, that it is used in agriculture, manufacturing or industrial sectors. All three methods should ideally give the same national income figures after all the corrections. Now let's discuss one of the another most important exam focused area in national income, that is the difficulties or problems in measuring the national income. In theory, calculating national income seems very easy. Just add incomes or expenditures or value added and here we have. But in practice, especially in developing countries like India, this becomes extremely challenging. Various economists, they face several obstacles while collecting accurate data. So let's understand each difficulty one by one. The first one is non-monetary transactions. There is a very large part of India's rural economy still works on non-monetary exchanges. For example, farmers produce food for self-consumption. Village households make cloth, pickles, homemade goods for family use. Barter transactions in tribal areas or household gardening and livestock for personal uses. Since these transactions do not involve any money, they are difficult to measure and often go unrecorded. And this leads to underestimate the national income. Right? The next difficulty is the black economy. A significant portion of income in India comes from illegal, unreported or cash-based activities. Since this income is not declared, it does not appear in the official data. That is why we call it as black money also. And this creates a huge gap between actual income and recorded income. The third problem is difficulty in valuing the services. Valuation of government services. Right? Many services have no clear market price or are difficult to value. For example, homemaker services, there is no charge for it. Voluntary work, parenting, caregiving, government services like police, fire brigade, judiciary, or maybe unpaid family labor, right? These services contribute significantly to the welfare, but they cannot be accurately measured in the monetary terms. Next problem is the double counting. Double counting means counting the same output more than once. And this is actually a big problem in the production method, especially in agriculture and manufacturing. We took an example, cotton to yarn to cloth to shirt. Now, if we add the full value of all these stages, then the value of cotton gets counted multiple times. हर बार cotton की value को हम add कर रहे हैं. That is why what are we doing? We are only adding or including the value added. So if this double counting is not removed, then national income becomes artificially inflated. Another problem is illiteracy and poor data collection. In many small businesses, there is no proper bookkeeping or accounting. They don't keep the accounts at all. There are street vendors, there are small kirana shops, rural artisans, agricultural households or small workshops. They do not maintain any record of the income or the cost or the sales that they do. So the data collectors, they estimate the value, leading to the errors and inconsistencies. These are various difficulties that actually comes into the picture. Now we move on to understanding that what is the importance of national income data. Why are we actually calculating the national income? The very first important part is the economic planning. Basis the results that we get, basis the national income that we have, we see that where does the economy lie, and so the economic planning is done for the coming years. Next is the standard of living measurement. National income actually helps us in telling that what is the standard of living of the people of that country. The higher the standard of living, the better is the growth of the economy. So national income let us measure the standard of living. Next is comparing the countries. With the help of national income, we are able to compare different countries, that where does their economy lie, whether it comes under the developed, underdeveloped or in developing country. Next is policy formulation. Basis the national income, the economies or various policies are formulated. And finally, understanding the growth trend. We also look at the trend, that how much growth is happening from the previous years and what is the trend. Are we growing fast? Are we growing steadily, or are we growing slowly? So this growth trend is also measured with the help of the national income. That is why national income is considered as one of the important data for any of the country. Coming on to the last part of the unit, we will quickly summarize that whatever we have learned into this unit. We have learned various pricing methods. We have seen that there are long-term pricing policies. There is what is price discrimination, what is national income concept, how do we measure it, what are the difficulties, what are the different methods of measuring national income. These concepts help firms and governments make sound economic decisions. Coming on to the important exam questions that have been coming in the previous years. Explain cost-based and demand-based pricing method. Very important question. What are pricing policies and discuss various types. Define price discrimination and explain its types. Define national income and explain different concepts of national income. And finally, explain methods of measuring national income. Thank you so much for learning with BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. Next video, we will be touching on the next unit. Do like, share and subscribe for more marathon classes. Thank you so much for watching.